Christmas is a Christian holiday commemorating Jesus' birth. Christmas, which originally meant Mass on Christ's Day, is a relatively new term in English. The Germanic Joel, which denoted the feast of the winter solstice, may have been the source of the earlier term Yule. The same phrases in other languages, such as Noël in French, Natale in Italian, and Navidad in Spanish, most likely refer to nativity. Weihnachten means hallowed night in German. Christmas has also been a secular family holiday since the early 20th century, celebrated by both Christians and non-Christians, without any Christian overtones, and distinguished by an ever more ornate gift-giving tradition. The main character in this secular Christmas celebration is a fictional person named Santa Claus. The early Christian Church made a distinction between commemorating Jesus' birth date in liturgical celebrations and determining his exact date of birth. It took a while for the day of Jesus' birth to be officially observed. Specifically, there was a lot of opposition to celebrating the birthdays of martyrs or even Jesus throughout the first 2 decades of Christianity. A number of church fathers made sardonic remarks on the heathen practice of commemorating birthdays when, from the church's viewpoint, saints and martyrs ought to be honored on the days of their martyrdom because these are their actual birthdays. It's uncertain where the exact tradition of celebrating December 25th as Jesus' birthday originated. There are no hints in the New Testament regarding this. Sextus Julius Africanus originally determined December 25th to be the date of Jesus' birth in 221, this date subsequently gained widespread acceptance. A commonly accepted theory regarding the origin of this date states that on December 25th, the popular Roman holiday known as Dies Solis Invicti Nati, which means, Day of the Birth of the Unconquered Sun, was Christianized. This holiday marked the end of winter and the beginning of spring and summer. In fact, Christian writers often connected the sun's rebirth to the birth of Jesus after December 25th was officially recognized as the day of Jesus' birth. The idea that the Christian Church was willing to casually borrow a pagan holiday when the early Church was so determined to set itself apart from pagan beliefs and practices is one of the problems with this viewpoint. According to another perspective, the creation of the world on the spring equinox and the production of light on the 4th day of creation, that is, March 25th, marked the dates of Jesus' conception and birth respectively, and therefore December 25th became the day of Jesus' birth. Just 9 months later, Christmas did not achieve the liturgical significance of Good Friday or Easter, the other 2 great Christian holidays, but it did become widely observed with a specific liturgy in the 9th century. Protestant churches are increasingly hosting late-night Christmas candlelight services on December 24th. Roman Catholic churches hold the first Christmas Mass at midnight. Christmas carols and scripture readings detailing the story of salvation from the fall in Eden to the arrival of Christ are woven together in a unique liturgy known as Lessons and Carols. Since its introduction by Archbishop Edward Benson and acceptance by the University of Cambridge, the service has gained immense traction. The majority of modern Christmas traditions are relatively new, and none of them have their roots in theological or liturgical convictions. The tradition of putting fir tree branches into homes was documented by Renaissance humanist Sebastian Brandt in Das Narrenschiff. It seems that fir trees decorated with apples were first recorded in Strasbourg in 1605, while exact dates and origins of the Christmas tree custom are somewhat disputed. A duchess from Silesian records that candles were first used on these kinds of trees in 1611. The calendar was supposedly designed in the 19th century by a Munich housewife who was fed up with having to keep saying when Christmas would arrive. In Germany, the first commercial calendars were produced in 1851. The placing of Christmas trees in sanctuaries long in advance of December 25th is evidence of the blurring of the traditional liturgical separation between Advent and the Christmas season, which is a result of the intense preparation for Christmas that is part of the commercialization of the festival. It became customary to give gifts to family members around the end of the 18th century. From a theological perspective, the feast days served as a reminder to Christians of God's gift of Jesus to humanity, just as the arrival of the Magi or wise men in Bethlehem implied that Christmas had something to do with delivering presents. Gift-giving, which dates back to the 15th century, helped to shape the perception of Christmas as a secular occasion honoring friends and family. This was one of the reasons why the Puritans of both Old and New England disliked Christmas and were successful in outlawing its observance in both countries. In keeping with the belief that the infant Jesus was born on the night of December 24th, gifts are exchanged on Christmas Eve December 24th throughout most of Europe. In North America, however, gift-giving now takes place in the morning hours of December 25th. When the family got home after Christmas Mass in the early hours of the 25th, they would exchange small gifts as was customary in 17th and 18th century Europe. Christmas liturgy was rescheduled for that day's late afternoon when the giving of gifts took place that evening on the 24th. With the exception of Catholic and some Lutheran and Episcopal churches, the morning of December 25th has become a significant family opening time in North America. This has virtually eliminated the need for church services on that day, a startling example of how cultural norms shape liturgical practices. Given the significance of Christmas as one of the main Christian feast days, December 26th is observed as a second Christmas holiday in the majority of European countries due to Christian influence. This custom harks back to the old Christian liturgical idea that Christmas, Easter, and Pentecost celebrations ought to span a full week. But throughout time the celebration was whittled down to just one day, Christmas Day, and one more holiday, December 26th. December 25th is observed as Christmas in Eastern Orthodox churches. This date, however, corresponds to January 7th on the Gregorian calendar for those who still observe their liturgies according to the Julian calendar. The Oriental Orthodox Communion's churches observe Christmas in different ways. For instance, the Armenian Apostolic Church celebrates Christmas on January 6th in Armenia, the nation that was the first to make Christianity its official religion. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church observes Christmas on January 7th in Ethiopia, a country where Christianity has been practiced since the 4th century. Christmas is observed on December 25th in the majority of the churches of the Syriac Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch and all the East. However, at the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, the Armenian Apostolic Church and the Syriac Orthodox commemorate Christmas on January 6th. The Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria observes its services on December 25th, on the Julian calendar, and is Kayak 29 on the Old Coptic calendar, which is January 7th, on the Gregorian calendar.